Good afternoon, everyone. Lisa Domian, Solid at My Core, health and fitness coach, holistic health coach. How are you guys? Happy Thursday to all of you. I hope many of you are outside enjoying this nice weather. Those of you who are in Minnesota and those of you who aren't, I hope it's a beautiful, sunny spring day like it is here. I'm going to actually flip. I don't know if you can see out there. There's my big, huge window. I'm sitting in our front room, and it's just gorgeous, gorgeous weather here and lots of sun. Spring is my absolute favorite time of the year for many, many reasons. I just like sunshine. So, hope you're having a good day. Wanted to come at you today with another topic in my series of how to get solid at my core. I hope you guys all had a chance to watch my tips yesterday on water and why it's so important to you and your body, mind, body, spirit. I know many of you commented, and I will be doing the drawing for the fabulous water bottle tomorrow. So if you have not went and watched my live yesterday and left a comment on how you're doing on your water consumption, you can still do so, and your name will get entered into a drawing for a water bottle, which is super exciting. That's thing number one. Number two, actually, wanted to share with you guys, I actually have created my own YouTube channel under Solid at My Core, Lisa Domian. So if any of you guys are YouTube subscribers and like YouTube, I've been posting these videos over on that social media outlet as well, and there's actually going to be some more things coming as early as next week on my YouTube channel, and down the road some fitness workouts and tips and things like that. So head on over to YouTube and subscribe there if you want some of those tips and tricks. I actually will be posting that link on my page here in the next couple days too. And I also will be posting a blog post a little bit later today on the topic that I'm going to talk about today, which is sleep. And I'm passionate about water, but I'm also very passionate about sleep. And again, if you've been in any of the groups with me, you know that I believe sleep is just as important as water in your health and fitness journey for so many reasons. Lack of sleep depletes us in many, many ways, mind, body, spirit. And for more information on that, check out my blog later today, because I did talk about the internal things that happen to our body when we don't get enough sleep. But today I actually just want to share with you a couple tips on how to get a good night's sleep. A couple days ago I talked about my morning rituals and my morning kind of plan of how I start my day really well. I also have a plan for the evening, and tips that I have learned along the way as a sleep-deprived mom. I have been there. I still have moments when I am there. But tips that I have learned along the way that have helped me implement a better bedtime strategy and a better bedtime routine that has led to me getting better sleep. And so I want to just share a couple of those tips with you here. And I would love to know if you guys have found if there's bedtime routines that work better for you or things you do that help you get a good night's sleep. But again, we talk a lot about sleep in my groups because I just think it's so important for many, many reasons. Again, check out my blog later, but for right now, here are my tips. So number one, I think it's super important to set a bedtime. There's studies out there that see people need 8 to 9 hours of sleep. There's studies out there that say people just need 5 to 6. I know many of you maybe listening to this are like, I got to grind. I got stuff I got to get done. I can make it work on 4. Many studies out there. I do believe firmly that only you know best what is best for you, and I think we're all able to kind of self-study ourselves, or I hope you're able to, but I would say for the most part, I think where a lot of us are seriously sleep deprived. And so in that case, I would say that most of us do need about 7 hours of sleep. It's my opinion. I have learned for myself that I work best on 7 to 7.5, and if I'm sleep deprived, meaning I've only gotten like 6-ish for a while, I know that I need 8 to play catch up. And believe it or not, last night was one of those nights and I got 8.5 hours of sleep. So that's part of why you didn't get this video this morning, as I slept in. But for me, I have learned that I'm a morning person, as you heard me share the other day, and so I like to get up between 4 and 5. That is when I work best. And knowing that I need about 7 to 7.5 hours of sleep, I count back, and I need to pretty much be in bed winding down at about 8:30, in bed between 9 and 9:30. So that is my bedtime time, and I actually even have it set on my Fitbit, so my Fitbit reminds me, but my body tells me. I just know that I start to get fuzzy, my body's just like, it's time to shut down, and it tends to be about 8:30 or 9 o'clock, and that is when I head to bed, and my whole family knows that is my bedtime. Just like you have a bedtime for your kids, set a bedtime for yourself and stick to it as best you can. create a bedtime routine. Again, we say this with our kids. Why would we not do this ourselves? So if you brush your teeth, I hope brush your teeth is one of your bedtime routines. Set that intention. I gotta brush my teeth. Maybe you want a cup of tea to wind down. Maybe you need to set your workout clothes out for the next day or figure out your wardrobe for the next day. You got to pack your work bag. You got to pack the kids' lunches. Whatever kind of are the 5 things you need to do before you go to bed, set that routine, get it done. I would say pack your kids' lunches and your bags before you go to bed, but then wind down slowly. Cup of tea, brush your teeth, wash your face, but create a routine that you do every single night, because then what happens is your body kind of just gets into that quieting down phase. And as you start your routine, your body slowly winds down and quiets down. Again, much like our kids, we maybe give them a bath, they brush their teeth, they brush their hair, they get the jammies on, they read a book, lights out, they go to bed. Same thing goes for you. Number 3, and I'm probably going to get some pushback from some of you on this, but I believe this. Put down your electronics at least an hour before you go to bed. And I'm not a big fan of a TV in a bedroom, but that's just me, because I believe, and there's studies that show this too, that when you're watching something, even the news, your mind gets overly stimulated. And your mind stays overly stimulated for quite some time, which means when you go to bed right after that, your mind is on overdrive, trying to process all of the information it just heard, which means it can't quiet down, which means you can't get into good REM or deep sleep for quite a while, which leads to restless sleep. So the more you can cut out electronics at least an hour before bed, the better it is for your brain, which then leads to better sleep, which then leads to better recovery in your system and body and everything. So that even means social media. So I know a lot of you play on Facebook, and I'm just as guilty of it, that sometimes I'm playing around with Facebook right before I go to bed, and I've tried to get better at it, something I'm working on, but I have learned that the more I stay away from electronics and social media at least an hour before bed, the better that I sleep. So I would encourage you to maybe think about that in your routine. Schedule a done time for work or errands or things around the house. I shared earlier, I think it was last week, where I talked about closing the kitchen. I think it was a week ago. And one of the best ways to get out of the kitchen is get busy doing something and maybe find a project or something to do. And I still believe that's something that's super important. But schedule a time to be done with it. So you're not, working around in frenzy and trying to finish up something and then all of a sudden, wham, you go to bed. Because again, that doesn't give your mind a chance to shut down. So, work on your projects for a while, or, if you've got work to do from your day job or whatever, schedule a time to be done and be done. And then start that bedtime routine and start to wind down. Because again, you don't need anything else processing in your head before bedtime. Along with that, and this is my last tip, is, some of us just simply procrastinate because we're tired. And I get that, you're like, I should do this, I should do that. And you kind of find yourself puttering around your house and, and you don't have direction and you're wandering. And then all of a sudden it's bedtime and you're like, oh shoot, I forgot to do X, Y, and Z, or I got to do this for work or whatever. Try and address your procrastination issues. And that could be another live if we need to talk about that, or we can certainly talk about that one-on-one if that's something you need help with. But the more you can get your procrastination issues in line, and just deal with your problems, the easier it's going to be to do the other tips that I talked about. And the easier it's going to be for you to not be worrying about something as you get into bed and stewing. And the more you worry and the more you stew, the more you don't sleep well. And the more you don't sleep well, the more sleep deprived you get. And then that leads to a whole host of other things, which again will be in my blog a little bit later today. So I hope you found these 5 tips helpful. Would love to know what your nighttime bedtime routine looks like, things that you're maybe working on. And if you're sleep deprived. I personally think many of us are, but I'd be curious to know your thoughts on that. So I love posts, I love comments, I love questions, and thanks to those of you who have been posting things below already. I love it. More to come tomorrow with another topic in this series of how to get solid at your core, mentally, physically, and emotionally. So thanks you guys for joining me, and have a happy Thursday, and we'll see you here on the page. Bye.